have super secret brand new information. Have you ever seen this when you're setting up a listing on Etsy and wondered, should you decrease your processing times? I mean, shorter processing times help you rank higher on Etsy, right? Everyone says so. So today I want to talk about what Etsy really says about processing time, how they impact your ranking, how else they might help your shop. And what about holidays and weekends for your processing time? And most importantly, how quickly do your customers actually expect to wait for an item when they're ordering it on Etsy? This is brand new top secret information, so you're really going to want to stick around to hear this. The results may shock you. In fact, let me know in the comments right now how long you think the average customer is happy to wait, is expecting to wait for an item to come that they've ordered on Etsy. And then when we get to the results, you can let me know whether you were right, wrong, or completely shocked. Firstly, does processing time affect where your items rank on the Etsy search? This is actually not mentioned as a direct factor to ranking that Etsy tell us about in any of the articles where they explain SEO. But there are some indirect factors that could improve metrics that Etsy tell us do impact on our SEO. First is conversion. Etsy do tell us that processing time can impact conversion. And the conversion is the probability of a customer buying an item when they see it in search. And actually, buyers in the US can even filter the search results by the expected delivery date, by the time it's going to take to ship to you. So if time is a factor and customers are really looking for speedy delivery, then your processing time will have an impact on where you rank. Second is reviews. Reviews really do impact where you rank in search. And Etsy tells us that accurate processing times can increase your likelihood of positive reviews. If your reviews increase, this increases your customer and market experience score, which actually helps the ranking for your entire shop. And third, it reduces the chance of cases being opened against you. Recent cases being opened against you do factor into that customer and market experience score. So if you're incorrect about your processing times, if you went for a quicker time than is really possible and you post late, a customer really can open a case against you. And not just rankings, but how else can accurate processing times help you? In the Star Seller program, I know it's controversial, but you need to ship 95% of your items within the processing time that you said you were going to ship them to be able to qualify in one part for the Star Seller badge. So if your processing times are too short, this might make it really hard, if not impossible, to hit those deadlines. And so the Star Seller badge does not directly yet impact where you rank in search. That badge is right there on your listings and in the search page, so it is possible that it might increase conversion. So it can indirectly increase your ranking in search. And of course, many sellers want this badge, so the whole thing could be a little bit stressful too. Don't click away, we're getting to this super secret data. But first, what about those holidays and weekends? How does this impact your processing time? Some people are getting really worried that if a customer orders something and it's on next day delivery, but it's a weekend or it's a bank holiday, are Etsy expecting you to ship next day, even though it's not possible? Etsy tell us they do take into account weekends and USPS holidays. So if you're not in the US or you're not using USPS, make sure and take that into account for yourself. If they're not going to cover holidays, like in the UK, they're not going to cover these bank holidays, then I'm going to have to increase my processing times to take into account the fact that we've got some pretty large, long bank holidays coming in 2022. But I double checked one of my listings, changing the processing time and seeing what the expected delivery date was going to be. And it is correct that Etsy are taking into account the weekends. So they're not expecting me to ship on the weekend and they're not expecting postage to arrive on a Sunday, which is fair enough. That's how the Royal Mail works. works. You can check this yourself, experiment yourself if you're worried. Take one of your listings and just change the processing time on it. You can change it back. Don't renew the listing or anything, but as soon as you click on the actual listing, it'll show expected delivery dates. So you can play around with that, and then don't forget to set it back to what you had. But just to put your mind at rest of what Etsy is considering the time period when you've said 3 days. But I think taking all this into account, you really want to give yourself some wiggle room. It is not going to be great for your shop to say you're doing 1 day delivery when you might be snowed under, your post office might be closed, you might be sick for a day. So already it's sounding like we're going to have to give ourselves that bit of wiggle room in the processing time. But what do your customers really want? Now is the time for that super secret data. eRank, who I also work for, but videos on this YouTube channel are completely my own, commissioned a survey of real Etsy buyers, over 1,000 real Etsy buyers. They asked all sorts of interesting questions to get into the mind of an Etsy buyer. But the relevant question for today's video is, how long are you prepared to wait for an item you've purchased from the following sites? And the data is really fascinating. In this chart, the lightest blue is 1 day, then 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, and all the way to 30 days. As you can see, people expect 1 day delivery the most from Amazon, with over 10% of them expecting that 1 day delivery, which makes sense. This is something that Amazon pushes. But I want to focus on what percent of customers are happy to wait 7 days or more for their delivery. Amazon, 44.1%. Target, 56.7%. Walmart, 55.5%. Surprisingly, eBay at 75.6%. I guess that kind of does make sense. Certainly when I'm on eBay, you do expect sometimes that some things are going to be shipped from China. I try and avoid that where possible. But sometimes things take a good bit longer. But top of them all for customers willing to wait 7 days or more for items they've purchased on the site was Etsy, with 79.5% of all customers willing to wait 7 days or more. So that's nearly 4 in 5 customers are prepared to wait. If we zoom in and select only the Etsy data here, we can see the majority of buyers are happy to wait 7 days, and over a quarter of buyers are happy to wait 14 days. And actually, more than twice the number of customers are prepared to wait a month as are expecting to only wait 1 day. So to me, this says that sellers can take the pressure off themselves to put these unrealistically difficult processing times. A little wiggle room will not hurt in the rankings, and customers are always happy to get items sooner than they were expecting. I feel this reflects really well that actual Etsy customers understand that Etsy is a handmade site. They are here for handmade items. And for international sellers as well, it's great to know that customers aren't so worried that an item might take a little while to ship to them. They understand that it's a worldwide site. eRank asked quite a few illuminating questions that only myself and my friend Starla Moore are sharing just now. If you're an Etsy seller and you love real data from real customers, you want to go over to erank.com and sign up for a free account. Amongst other things, you can find out those keywords that buyers are searching for right now. And if you want me to dig some more into this data from what real customers think, then you're going to want to subscribe and come back here. And also, check out this video by my friend Starla. She's using this data to let us know how you can turn customers into repeat buyers just by knowing what is important to those real customers. And both of us are going to be digging deep into these stats and bringing you so much more information. So tell Starla I said hi and subscribe to her as well.